Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and to the ladies of The View, the bitter, mean-spirited Delulu ladies of The View. Here is Sunny Hostin calling black men, Cuban men who vote for Trump, ridiculous and crazy.
You've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to reach the Cuban men in Miami that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. I don't know what their hearts look like.
That should be part of Trump's next ad. He'll set records for the black vote if more black folk knew how the elite Democrat class look at them. And if you want to know just how wacky Sunny is, listen to her say just last month that Joe Biden's legacy will rival George Washington's. I wish I was kidding.
I truly believe that his legacy will be etched in the history books as Washington, as someone who put that ego aside and put his country first.
He also so decent.
That's definitely his legacy.
It's still funny every time I hear it. Now, let's hear from some black men who are voting for Trump, even as this shopkeeper who's interviewing them tries to convince them to vote for Kamala.
About to vote?
Yeah.
Who you voting for?
Trump.
Come on, bro. Harris tells backwards, bro.
What?
Harris.
Man, we not voting for that, man. We voting for Trump, man. I'm black.
So why you ride with Trump so much?
Them Venezuelans taking all our bread.
Hey, Trump or Kamala?
Trump, to be honest.
Why Trump, though?
He used to keep immigrants out, so, you know, we was able for us to get jobs. It's hard for us to get jobs now, shit, because immigrants taking over.
Like, what would make you want to vote for Kamala?
I ain't gonna lie, we was the last two people on Earth. Still wouldn't do that shit.
Damn.
On bro grave.
It's like that?
Yeah, it's like that. I don't with her.
I go with Trump. She ain't no good. I'll put it like that. So whoever wanna believe and go with her, check her history. Y'all turn around then.
So you wouldn't vote for a black woman? It's gonna be the first black woman in office.
That's gonna start World War III soon she get in.
Kamala or Trump?
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 Yeah.
Come on, bro. Kamala till it's backwards, bro.
Man, what did you Kamala, we voting for Trump, but what are you talking about? You know damn well we don't Kamala.
Why?
Trump.
Why, bro?
Give out free stamps and everything. You tweaking.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
Ain't do us. You tweaking.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I vote Kamala.
Man, we you and Kamala.
Come on, bro. I can't even have my opinion. Damn, bro.
Bro, you voting for you, so you with that all them Venezuelans? You with all that goofy?
Yeah.
Nah, ain't no yeah.
Now, the Democrats and Kamala Harris are in full panic mode. Black men are abandoning the Democrats, and Barack Obama, berating the brothers, as he calls them, isn't going to bring them back. So the Veep went on The Breakfast Club and talked about reparations before again reminding us she grew up in a middle-class family.
My question to you is, what's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, you know, off the backs of free black labor. How progressive are you on making it a priority and righting America's wrongs?
Yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history, to your point. So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister.
She always goes back to that. But reparations, really? So people who've never owned slaves giving money to people who've never been slaves? Sounds like the sort of lefty losing it policy Harris always champions. Also on the program, we got this incredible statement from Kamala saying the only reason she's losing support is because Republicans are scaring people away. Then she goes straight to one of her favourite bits of scaremongering and lies about Project 25.
Part of the challenge that I face is that they are trying to scare people away because they know they otherwise have nothing to run on. Ask Donald Trump what his plan is for Black America. Ask him. I'll tell you what it is. Look at Project 2025.
Project 25, Project 25. The hypocrisy, the projection there is incredible. All they have is fear and lies about Project 25 and threats to democracy. And with the Democrats losing support among black men, we saw Kamala resort to racist, sexist bribes. She posted this overnight. She said, "Black men deserve a president who cares about making their lives better." And then she attached her policy agenda for black men, including creating an opportunity agenda for black men. Not black women, not Latino men, certainly not white folk, just black men mentioned in her communication. And let's look at what she offers this demographic. $1 million, 1 million loans that are fully forgivable. And the woman who locked up people for marijuana offences is now promising to make weed legal, because that's all black men care about in Kamala's eyes, not paying back their loans and weed. Can you imagine if Trump posted a policy called creating an opportunity agenda for white men? But the Veep has not just been race baiting, she's also been stargazing.
You know, there's this whole, I talked with somebody once who said, you know, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky, don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation, what does it show you? So you just outlined it, Roland. What does it show you?
I have no idea what that was about. I've got no explanation at all. Just thank God she has such a relatable, normal, masculine man's man from the Midwest as her running mate. Not like he's going to say anything stupid.
Look, you all know it. We can't have 4 more years of this. We won't have 4 more years of it. We won't.
There you go. That's definitely in Trump's next ad. We can't have 4 more years of this. He's right. The Democrats have been terrible. And if you thought sassy moves and stupid comments were all Tim Walz had to offer, then you'd be wrong. He's actually quite mean-spirited too. Here he mocks Trump and a woman who he helped out by giving her $100 for her grocery bill.
But he walks into this grocery store and he hands a $100 bill to a lady to pay for his groceries. Did you see this? So I'm like thinking, I wonder what he's doing there. And then I got to thinking, I think it's just natural. Any woman he sees, he pays off because he did something on there. I don't know.
What an absolute grub. Joining me now is filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, the left is in meltdown over new polling data showing that Donald Trump is gaining popularity among black and Hispanic voters. Even CNN pundits are in a spin about this. It looks like Trump will have the best performance with black voters since 1960. That's the best black vote for a Republican in 64 years, despite continuously being called a racist, Ami.
Yeah, look, it's absolutely incredible. The Obama coalition, which propelled Obama and Joe Biden to the presidency, is a 3-legged stool, right? It's white women, Hispanics, and black voters. And while he's gaining with white women, although that's actually being outpaced by the gains by Trump with white men, the other 2 legs of the stool are cratering, Rita. First of all, the Hispanic vote. The Hispanic vote 2 elections ago was at nearly 70%. Right now, Trump might get 50%. He's right now pulling at close to 50% of the Hispanic vote. That's despite the fact that the media business continuously trying to call him as anti-Hispanic, right? That's all they do. He hates immigrants. He hates Hispanics. Hispanics aren't stupid. They see what's going on, and that's why he might win close to 50% of the Hispanic vote, okay? This is not going well for them. The black vote. The black vote, historically, votes for the Democrats at a higher rate than Putin wins in his last rigged election, okay? They vote for Democrats at nearly 90%. But right now, it is possible that Trump is going to win 25% of the black vote. That may not seem like a lot to you, but that is a bigger percentage of black vote in almost 60 years for Republicans. But more importantly, is that vote may flip a state like Pennsylvania, where he really has a problem in the Philadelphia urban area. Look, all of these things are coming together and creating absolute desperation and fear in the camp for Kamala Harris. How do we know that? Because she's going to the Death Star. She's going on to Fox News for an interview. She is so desperate that she can't handle friendly interviews, Rita. How is she going to handle Bret Baier? And Bret Baier, by the way, is not an attack dog. Bret Baier is actually just fair, right? Fair and honest. And she's not going to be able to handle that. She can't handle the View, Rita. What is she going to do? Look, the polling is all trending away from her. You know, a couple quick stats that I think are really important. Right now in the Rust Belt, right, the three most important swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Right now, she's behind in all. He may sweep all three of them. And Wisconsin, which was kind of solidly in her camp, not by much, but pretty solidly, in the last 10 polls that were done, she's only up in 4 of those polls. In Pennsylvania, in the last 10 polls, she's only up in 2. And in Michigan, which is probably the most solid blue of those 3, in the last 10 polls, she's only up by 1. She's down statistically in all of those swing states. And he's probably going to win Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and right now Nevada is trending toward him. So look, right now it's possible, if the election were held today, he might win every one of those swing states. It is desperation time in Harris's camp.
And as we know with him, he's historically polls badly. His vote is underrepresented in those polls. The end results always turns out to show that he had far more support. I remember in 2020, the margins between the last polls and what he actually achieved at the election were enormous in some states. So that, I think, would be playing on the Democrats' mind as well, just how bad are the real numbers, not just what we're seeing. And you can see why her camp is panicking and coming up with these vote-buying policies that are frankly racist. 1 million forgivable loans of up to $20,000. She's aiming this at black men to try to get them to stick with the Democrats. She's talked about protecting cryptocurrency investments for black men, making recreational weed legal, and certainly having Barack Obama go out there and berate black men seemed to backfire, Army. That did not work. In fact, I think it did far more damage than good.
Now, I mean, on what planet do you think it's a good idea for anybody, I don't care if it's the first black president, to go out to the constituency you're trying to get to support you and to vote for you, and then demonize them and say you're a bunch of misogynist idiots? On what planet is that going to work? I don't understand.
Now, you've been out on the ground again, speaking to voters. You were in Harlem. Here's what one young man had to say about why so many black men are leaving the Democrats.
Whether it's Brooklyn, Bronx, I see a lot of people that you would never think, oh, you know, I'm pro-Trump, you know, let's go Trump. You know, like
particularly black men?
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm in awe. A lot of the media, especially what we see now, you know, CNN and, you know, everything else, they don't really tell us the full story. They push this notion that maybe Trump is like this bad guy and stuff.
Okay,
and he could very well just be like a bad guy, but I'd be lying if, you know, like numbers don't lie. If you look back, he's done a lot, especially, you know, in terms of employment and stuff. He's done a lot for, you know, like us, you know, under his administration.
And Army, as you pointed out, the issues that impact black people are the same ones that impact everybody else, whether it's crime, inflation, the illegal immigration crisis. And I think that's something that the Democrats have forgotten. The areas where they have failed America, they've also failed the black community.
Look, I was out there all day. Look, I'm in Harlem quite often talking to black people, but, you know, I spent all day talking to them specifically for a video on this topic. And yes, look, they understand that they are being taken for granted. Like you hear that all the time by black people. Look, we're voting 90%. What are we doing? What are we getting for this? Like, they're not stupid. They're old enough to remember what it was like under Trump and compare it to what their life is like today under Joe Biden. And they're looking and saying, we were better off 4 years ago. Not just black people, by the way. That's the same question that every American asks themselves, and they come to the same conclusion. My life was better 4 years ago than it is today. That's a problem, and it's an endemic problem the Democrats they cannot run away from. And this balkanization of black people to say, hey, your issues are different than everybody else. It's so patronizing. It's so racist. It's so ignorant. What are black issues? What's a black issue? I know what a black issue is. It's crime, it's education, it's immigration, it's the economy, it's inflation. Oh, guess what? Those are also my issues. How could that be? We're all the same? Yes, we're all the same. The Democrats cannot understand that. That is why I think, look, I'm going to call it now. I think Trump's going to win this election. This thing is trending toward him. There's only 3 weeks left. I don't see this turning around anytime soon unless there's some kind of massive mistake that he makes, which is always possible. I'm calling the shot. I think Trump's going to win.
Well, I'm sure the Democrats will have a few tricks up their sleeve. I don't know if it will be more lawfare or what they're going to throw, but I'm sure there will be something because surely they would have known that Kamala Harris wasn't going to be some visionary leader that was going to just make people forget the last 4 years. She was pretty inept as vice president, which they tried to memory hole for the nation. The media campaign around her, I think, is something that we'll study for decades to come. Now, crime is a big issue in this election, particularly in the big cities, including New York. The New York Post had this front page. It says it all. You've got migrant youth gangs running riot in Manhattan, operating out of taxpayer-funded shelters, and the teenagers are terrorising folks in Times Square. They seem to have little fear of consequences, even after committing things, robberies and armed robberies. How bad is this issue in a place like New York and other cities across America?
Look, I've said before, I'm not into hyperbole. I don't like making things bigger than they are. I live in New York. Things are not great. Things are bad. They're trending worse. And a lot of it's because of the illegal immigrants who are coming here. There's no question about it. Are we Venezuela? Of course not. I don't like those comparisons. It's ridiculous. But are we better now again than we were 4, 8, or 10 years ago? No, of course we're not. It's much, much worse. Crime is absolutely getting worse. You can feel it. You can see it. Who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes, right? That's what every New Yorker says when they hear, oh, crime is down. That's not really true, at least for the crime that affects people. Look, they're supposed to be handcuffing the criminals, but instead they're handcuffing the police. They're disallowing the police to do what they have to do, particularly when it comes around illegal immigration, because New York is a sanctuary city. And by the way, most of the blue cities, the big blue cities, are sanctuary cities. And this is one of the massive problems. They have safe havens they can go to. And also, there's also a significant problem about youth crime, because these people aren't stupid. They know how to game the system. And they know that if they take children and they have the children commit crimes, that the laws against them, as weak as they are against adults, they're almost non-existent when they come to minors. And minors is anything under 18. And they know that. That's why they're recruiting young people. It is child abuse. It is unbelievable. Look, not that long ago, I actually saw a man threatening a young woman late at night on a Saturday night, 12:30 in the morning, threatened to kill and rape her. And me and a guy who I didn't know saw this go on. We grabbed him, we put him under a citizen's arrest, and we held him. We called 911. First of all, it took 7 minutes for the police to get to us. 7 minutes, you're holding a man who does not want to be held down is a long time. When the cops got there, they said, what do you hold? I explained what they're doing. He was actually threatening to kill the police while we were holding him. And the police said, let him go. There's nothing we can do. They literally told me that I had to let this psychopath go free because the police would do nothing. It is horrible what's going on. And by the way, look, maybe not worse, but pretty close to worse is how the media is downplaying all of this. Rita, the media is trying to pretend none of this is happening, right? These are not the droids you are looking for. Did you watch the J.D. Vance interview with Martha Raddatz on ABC? It was unbelievable. Yes. She was a mouthpiece for the DNC. She kept saying, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. In Colorado, it's only, her words, a handful of apartment buildings have been taken over by gangs. And J.D. Vance, his credit, he goes, do you hear yourself? I was jumping up and down saying, thank God, J.D., you nailed it. A handful of them, and you're saying that's okay? It's unbelievable. This is why Trump's going to win. This is why Trump's winning. Hello? Bueller.
That is such a great line by J.D. Vance. Do you hear yourself? It just, I think it shook Martha because it really, she literally said it's just a handful of apartment buildings. Donald Trump has been inaccurate. And Donald Trump got fact-checked in that debate with Kamala Harris when he talked about the crime rate. And they said, oh, no, the crime's less now. And when he mentioned, well, it's because some agencies aren't actually reporting, and they tried to say that wasn't accurate, and it actually was. So, crime is a big issue. Illegal immigration is a massive issue, and I think after the Kamala honeymoon has been gone, there's not much left that the Democrats are offering the American people. So I'm not surprised the polls are collapsing for her. Ami Horowitz, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time this evening.